Children are simple creatures. They like any shiny toy that comes their way, and books should be no exception. Surely a couple of cutesy illustrations should do the trick, right? How hard could it be to convince them to pick up your book? Except, who are the ones that will buy your books? That's right, the parents. They also know how fickle kids' attention spans are. If anything, they have more say over what kids will read. Understandable, because they want to control what their kids are exposed to. As they should, of course, though that make your tasks as an author much more difficult. How do you write something children can read and understand while not compromising the story's message and themes? Yes, you should always think of the children, as the saying goes. But the parents are the ones who buy your books. They will decide whether or not a book is appropriate for their child to read, so decide how to dress both fronts. Determine what age group you want to appeal to and write or illustrate accordingly. For example, picture books are typical for kids between a few months to 5 years old, as these are what parents often read to them. They're not old enough to process vast amounts of information yet. Instead, short words and short, straightforward sentences will help build up their reading ability on their terms, with colorful illustrations to help visualize the story. A well-thought-out text that pairs well with compelling illustrations will enhance this intimate bonding experience between parent and child. The beauty of imagination is its endless potential for creativity, and who else better to demonstrate that than children? Playing pretend is a quintessential kid activity that allows them to have fun venturing into these worlds within this world. Whether it is playing kings and queens, heroes, or villains, they immerse themselves into these characters. They bring them to life beyond the confinements of their mind, and that is something you, as an aspiring author, can follow. If you want to create a book that kids will want to read, reimagine the world in their eyes. Turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Magic doesn't only have to exist in fantasy stories. As mentioned before, depending on the age demographic, the level of complexity in both the characters' motivations and the driving storyline will vary. For children just learning to read, simplicity is best to avoid overwhelming them. This means you, as the author, will need to create surface-level situations with a clear, easy-to-understand conclusion. As for older children, you as the author can afford to delve into more challenging storylines and flesh out your characters beyond basic archetypes. More importantly, having your protagonist as a child means the audience, at any stage of their life, can witness or grow up alongside on their journey. To quote Readsy Children's editor Anna Bowles, a lot of beginners write about children, as we adults often see them as cute and slightly comical little beings. But what children actually want is stories where they are the heroes, driving the action, facing challenges, and making choices. This may sound obvious, but do have actual kids of that age demographic read first before seeking established publishers. They are your target audience, after all. You can also have parents read it over and allow them to share their opinions. Otherwise, there are professional children's editors who will help prepare you for the market. But where to go from here? Should you go along the traditional path and find an established publishing house, or self-publish? With the traditional method, they handle the process themselves. All the work that you would have done, this complicated, timely process, these houses have dedicated teams to handle the tasks. Whereas with self-publishing, you have a more direct pathway to realizing your work. You don't have to wait for a slim chance that may never happen. This, however, comes with a steep learning curve that requires considerable research.